legalize it. Don't criticize it. Legalize it, yeah, yeah. And I will advertise it.
First, we're gonna invite Gemma Winner. She's gonna be speaking about the marijuana plants and the tourism. So we gotta learn a lot today. We come here to teach and we come here to learn. All right? So as we get started, I want to welcome Gemma Winner. She's gonna start it with her speech. Thanks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. What wouldn't a festival be without some sort of academia? So it's a good thing I'm going first because I don't know what's going to happen later. So let's do this. Let's learn some academic and see how important the tourism industry as it applies to the marijuana plant. So I'm a doctoral student at the University of Maryland, and my thesis is economics of marijuana as it relates to tourism on small island nation. Born and bred Caribbean person here. Originally from Haiti, and I lived all my life in St. Thomas. Next one. Okay, a tourist, just to give you an understanding of the tourist dynamic. This is a map of the 30 legalized states in the United States, 9 of them of which recreational. The rest of the 30 have some sort of impact on marijuana, either it's recreational or cannabis or medical. So you see, as we progress, the states are getting on board. Next slide. In the Caribbean, we have decriminalized Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Antigua, Barbuda, the U.S. Virgin Islands. You can possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana. Jamaica, although it's decriminalized, however, socially accepted, widely used, and grown locally. So why not take full advantage of this? Next slide. Okay, my dissertation question asks, just to give you a little boring academia, can the marijuana industry become the disruptive innovation that stimulates economic development, spurs new innovative clusters, encourages linkage between agriculture and tourism, making agri-tourism, and extend the tourism life cycle by helping to rejuvenate traditional tourism product in small island nation. I know it's a mouthful, but I'm going to address before you guys get too high. 8 tourists, academic version of 8 tourists is somebody that travels at least 100 miles and stays overnight, not to exceed 365 days. That's the definition of a tourist. A marijuana tourist is somebody that drives not as far as 100 miles, to a destination to partake in the medical or recreational marijuana. So there's a big difference when it comes to stats and actually finding out what these people do, what they like. Next slide. Marijuana tourist is tourist farms. If you think of this small island, you can have educational recreation. You have a 420 space. Lodging, restaurants, edible is a huge market here. It should be, but it has to be tested. New products, education, economic development, safe place. Like this is a safe place to be. This is where it's acceptable. This is all right to be unified in one cause. It's highly taxed. Unfortunately, it's highly taxed, but we want to appease the naysayer by providing education, by providing medical, by providing things that will actually encourage more visitors to partake. It has to have a strong regulatory framework. You know, I know it's probably, and my husband will cover that in economics. Next slide. Tourism area is, well, I want to skip that slide. Okay? Every island goes through these instability clauses where it's actually up. In the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as the British Virgin Islands, we have to actually stimulate another method of tourism besides just the traditional one. So marijuana offers that impetus to actually have another type of tourists to come and spend their money. Okay, next slide. A disruptive innovator is something that actually creates another market. For instance, a disruptive innovator the Airbnb disrupted the traditional lodging. That's a disruptive innovator. So we actually can create another disruptive innovator through marijuana. Next slide. It also does something called collaborative consumption. Okay, I have a kitchen, you need a kitchen, I can borrow you my kitchen, we can regulate this. So it actually collaborates with others. So that causes that. Next slide. And it also forms actually something called innovative clusters. So if there's a pharmaceutical that needs well-qualified people, we can provide them with extra education. So this is not just about smoking. This is about education. This is about economic opportunity. This is about growth and welfare for the future generation. If you do it right, you can actually establish a linkage between agriculture, tourism that actually will sustain the islands. Okay, that's my little speech. And I'm going to actually turn it over to economists that will give you more detail on the economics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wenner, for such a tremendous speech. Well, as you can see, this plant been suffering, victimized for a very long time. I'm glad to have so much people teaching us, educating us about the plant. An innocent plant that can bring a big effect on the economy in this country and the world, anyway. Next, we're gonna welcome on stage Mark Wenner. You're gonna speak about economics and legalization of the cannabis. Welcome, Wenner, on stage.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I will try to keep it brief, but I think it's worth a while to take this opportunity to share information so we can all become better informed and work for legalization of a product that has very clear therapeutic benefits, and I will focus on the economic aspects of it. And two main messages. This is a wonderful opportunity. There's a tremendous amount of money in this new industry, and the main key is having a good regulatory framework. Yeah. So next slide. So basically, I'm going to try to hit three main points. Why is this important for Caribbean islands, given the current state of economic development that we're in? What is the level of social acceptance? With some experiences highlighting what has happened in Colorado, which is really the early adopter of full legalized marijuana. What are the lessons we can get from Colorado? Other states are coming on every day. Oklahoma 2 weeks ago. California started at the beginning of this year. So it's a wave that's happening across the country. The economic implications of legalization. Basically, there are three big areas that we should all be aware of. One, there's a tremendous tax revenue generation capability. Number two, it creates lots of new firms, new enterprises, and lots of jobs. And lastly, it helps to reduce the costs in the criminal justice system of prosecuting people for marijuana use or possession. Next slide, bringing it home to the Caribbean. Why is marijuana should be of interest to the policymakers and key stakeholders in the Caribbean community? One is that the Caribbean is in a very challenging economic times. Most of the jurisdictions and states in the Caribbean have persistent budget deficits. I think in the whole Caribbean region last year in 2017, there was only 2 that had a zero balance or a positive balance. Luckily, British Virgin Islands was one of them, but is only 2 or 3 out of the 34 states in the Caribbean had a positive or a zero balance. The second main point, most of the Caribbean is suffering from very low growth. The average growth for the whole region is 0.6%. Most dynamic economies grow, emerging economies grow anywhere between 5 to 7. So the Caribbean as a whole is way below the world average. We are stagnant. The next big problem the Caribbean has is we have a lot of debt, high debt loads. So you have countries like Barbados that have unsustainable debt of 157% public debt to GDP. Jamaica 113, a whole bunch of countries in the 70% range. St. Vincent, Dominica, Bahamas. Anything over 60% from an economic point of view is bad. And when you're over 100, it's like think that you don't even own your house. Other people own more than the value of your house, if that you can think of it in that sense. They, and now to bring it to like 3 territories that are very close to each other, talk a little bit about the BVI, the economic situation here, and U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. The worst off is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has $73 billion worth of bond debt, $50 billion worth of unfunded liabilities. It has a $65 million budget gap for fiscal year 2018, massive unemployment, massive immigration flight out of the country. And of course, still struggling to recover from the hurricane. The U.S. Virgin Islands is a couple steps behind Puerto Rico. Their budget gap for this fiscal year 2018 is going to be 325 million US. Unemployment is about 10%. Our public system pension fund is insolvent. It will go bust in 2025. We're still in the midst of recovering from the hurricane, looking at about $9 billion worth of damage. In the BVI, you have a surplus, and you have a low debt ratio of 18% to GDP, which is good. But one of the big problems that's facing the BVI is that the UK government has passed a law saying that will seriously affect your financial services industry, which generates 60% of the government's revenue. So the BVI has over 4,000 or 5,000 registered companies, and these companies, the UK government wants open and fully disclosed public registry. If these companies leave, that means that 60% of the revenue of the territory of the British Virgin Islands will disappear. So, long story short, our islands need an economic fix. Next slide. Yeah, go back one. Yeah, our islands need an economic fix. Unfortunately, the traditional economic recommendations are very, very painful. And so basically, the classical economists would tell you when you have this bad situation that's facing most of the Caribbean states, what you should do: cut spending, raise taxes, stop off-budget budgeting, and privatize state enterprises. Inflate and try to grow. Well, if you're recovering from a hurricane, you need to spend in order to replace what was damaged. If you're recovering from a hurricane, you can't increase taxes because the businesses are down. So this does not make sense. So what the focus has to be on is to increase revenue. You got to find something that would increase revenue without unduly stifling business. And this is where marijuana could play this role. Next. Okay, switching slides a little bit now, to themes a little bit, is that marijuana is the most widely used illicit drug in the world. And it is the most widely used in the US, which is the largest drug market of all on the planet. According to the federal government, approximately 22 million people in a population of 316 above the age of 12 have used marijuana in the last month. Now, that is a federal survey. A private survey by Marist University found almost double that, because people don't like to tell the truth to the federal government. So they will more likely tell the truth to a private university. So the Marist University survey comes up with 55 million who have used in the last month. And just to give you some comparative statistics, in the US, there are 59 million tobacco users or smokers. 56% of the people in the US furthermore say that marijuana should be legalized. 61, they find it acceptable. And more importantly, vast numbers, more than 70% believe that marijuana is less harmful than alcohol, less harmful than tobacco. And 67% feel that marijuana is far better than prescription painkiller. So we got two biggies here. Marijuana could help with the opiate crisis that's affecting North America, and it could be a source of revenue for governments that are financially strapped. Next slide. And just to underline, this is a big money industry. This is thus the state of Colorado. Overall in the US, the legal market in 2020 will be about a $20 billion market. In the state of Colorado, they legalized in 2014, and the gross sales went from 683 million to today, it's 2017, it was 1.5 billion. For the statistics that are available for the first quarter of 2018, they have already sold, I think is 162 million. So they're on track to equal or surpass last year. So this is just one state. There are 9 other states that have full legalization. Canada has just come on. Canada by itself will be about an $18 billion market. So Uruguay, Spain, the Netherlands. So this is a big money maker. For the take of the government, if you go back one slide, just to show you, this is very important. The state of Colorado went from capturing 67 million in 2014 to now capturing 247 million. What did the state of Colorado use this money for? They use it for youth education, substance abuse prevention, most importantly for affordable housing and building new schools. And they prioritize rural areas and poor neighborhoods for the new school construction. And they also use it to pay all the expenses related to the marijuana enforcement division that was created to regulate the industry. And they also use it to pay for local law enforcement, for local police forces. So this has been a real boon to the state of Colorado. The other states, unfortunately, they're more recent and statistics are not available. So for example, California, which is the largest state in the union, does legalize beginning January 1. So the stats are just not in, but I would suspect within a year or two, California with 44 million people will make Colorado look like chicken peas. Okay, next slide. What does Colorado do? So talking about a regulatory framework, they tax the shit out of marijuana. Is roughly 30%. So it's but in the case of medicinal marijuana, they subsidize it and they want to encourage it. So the tax on medicinal marijuana is 2.9%, but the tax on recreational together is 30%, okay? And the fees to get set up in the business range from $2,000 to $8,000, and you can't have a criminal background. So this is a huge moneymaker again. Next slide. So how does the landscape of the industry look in Colorado? As of last year, May, there's 520 licensed dispensaries. There's 776 cultivation centers, and there are 250 infused product manufacturers, and there's 14 testing facilities. My wife mentioned before that testing, quality assurance, is key. Cannot be underemphasized. That has been one of the things that has really set Colorado apart. You know what you're consuming. Everything is labeled. Everything is tested. Next slide. So now I'm just going to wrap up. The real key business, I think, is that the evidence is very clear that there's over 20 therapeutic uses for marijuana. That marijuana is less harmful than alcohol or tobacco. So the real issue is to how to best regulate this product, right? So why should we regulate it in the first place? Well, we should regulate because even though the product has some good aspects to it, there are some dangers and some risks, and those pose public health dangers. So the two biggest problems with marijuana is the science is clear that early adolescence use leads to cognitive reduction of function. It impairs your short-term working memory because under the age of 23, your brain is not fully developed. So these drugs can affect how it functions. Secondly, pregnant and lactating mothers should not use marijuana because the science is not clear, but known for sure that THC stays in the fats of the bodies. And if it's affecting adolescents, it's likely to affect newborns and fetal. The biggest clear danger of legalized marijuana is driving under the influence. So in the state of Colorado, the number of motor vehicle deaths related to marijuana, but it's really polysubstance abuse, is marijuana mixed with alcohol, has gone up 134%. The other big issue is in Colorado has come out is emergency room visits. Because of the high potency of marijuana that's being marketed, a lot of people that don't have tolerance and not used to it end up in emergency rooms with anxiety and attacks. And so the number of marijuana-related anxiety attacks of people who have gone to emergency rooms in Colorado has gone up from like 78 per 10,000 to like 163 per 10,000 between 2014 to like 2016. So long story short, this is just an overview slide. I won't go in any detail. It shows you there's many, many ways to skin the cat. But the point I would like to drive home, there's a wide range. You can have a government monopoly. You can have a cooperative model. You can have a commercial model. Which one you decide has a lot of implications. So if you go a commercial model, it means that big money will probably dominate. And if you go to a more home allowance, homegrown, cooperative model, smaller scale people can act. If you go with a government monopoly, you end up with lots of corruption and inefficiency. So it all depends how you skin the cat. There are many ways to skin the cat, but how you skin the cat has different implications. Next slide. So these are the 8 principles or the 8 things you need to really think about when you are working in the regulatory framework. And it's most important, this is something that should be done in an open process. This is something not for the experts, okay? The experts may facilitate, but it's something that a community has to come together in a broad-based understanding, discussion, and consensus and agreement. So the 8 things briefly is you have to come to agreement on is your production model. Are you going to allow homegrown? Are you going to allow indoor, high-scale industrial production or outdoor growth? All of them have implication. The second one is profit. Are you going to allow for vertical integration? One big company owns production, distribution, sales, or are you going to allow for a whole bunch of small growers and then separate dispensaries? Purity. Purity is very important. Testing, quality assurance, testing, labeling. The other one is potency. Some states are considering setting TC level, maximum TC level, to avoid visits to emergency rooms. Promotion, this is very important to avoid youth from using marijuana, is that to prevent advertisement aimed at youth or close to where youths are. And last thing is pricing. There's a lot of money to be made in marijuana, but you do not want to tax it too high or increase the price to the consumer, because then it will allow for the legal market to still persist and to undercut if you price too high. Lastly, prevention and harm. You got to put money into youth education, into consumer education about potency levels, of not using it, using it responsibly, not driving. And then lastly is permanency. You need to gather information, monitor, assess, periodic reviews, and change the system, because you may not get it right the first time. So you probably need to have some flexibility built in order to update. Next slide. I think this is it. Yeah. And so basically the conclusion, this is a wonderful opportunity, but it has risks. The risks need to be managed. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Any questions? You can look me up here on the side. Okay, thank you.
JTV, ladies and gentlemen, Just Van Dyke, Hempfest 2018. And I'm here with, what's your name?
Black Star Juice Bar, Amdulwai.
Good stuff. Now, you have different bottles here. I passed by Ole and I had this sorrel and they were off the chain. Tell us about the different beverages you have.
Well, today I came with 6 different flavors, 2 of each. We down to, I don't know what the amount is, a fraction right now, so I would think that somebody like the juices.
And this is freshly made, all natural.
100% BVI. This is like a company about 4-5 years old. Yeah, so we survive now and we were back up as the fruit trees grow up in Tatola.
Yeah.
We take advantage and we bring forth, this is our version of the BVI because this is 100% natural and people need it for nutritional, not just economy, but for nutritional value.
Now, why was it so important for you to be a part of the Hempfest, the first ever Hempfest?
Well, for a whole heap of reasons, I didn't even know if I could list all. But this is thing what I stand for in my life. This is thing what my ancestors stood for. We have to keep defending the plant, and now everybody coming to see that, okay, yeah, the Rasta man really were right. We have to bring this plant out in the forefront. Now they still want to keep us out of the market.
Yeah.
They're like the same people who benefit from it being illegal, now want to benefit from it being legal. Come on, man, and we bear the burden, and the Rasta, marijuana, same, like you put us together. And it had a time when it wasn't so peaceful about it, like you get beat down, you get disowned, you get thrown out your house, all of that, all over this. This, so now when it comes time to reap the experience, now reap some of the benefit, we got to be there. Because we carry the burden and we protect the seed up to the point now then go say, my son the Rasta man I'm writing about, we still have to find a way how to benefit more than the Rasta man.
I tell you, that's life. Well, for persons looking on and they want to get some juice from Black Star Juice Bar, how can they do that?
Yeah, man, with Black Star Juice Bar, you could call me 1284-4960-445. And right now we got we're up to about 8 flavors. We also do medicinal flavors as well, thing where you drink each day like once or twice. Yeah.
Definitely a pleasure meeting you. Of course, we hope to see you again here next year.
Yeah, man.
Same time, same place.
In a grander fashion, because I think this is a success. It's good for the tourism,
Yeah.
We need a boost of everything possible right now.
I agree.
I'm telling you, this is good.
All right, good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, JTV Hempfest. Keep it locked.
As we move on, we're going to introduce to you a performer. I know this guy for a while. I never knew he used to sing. Anyway, he good. He representing St. Vincent. All right? All right. So get ready for Jillian.
So before we go up on stage, let me tell you about my girl, Mary Jane. I met this girl when I was just 8. The playground after school is where we had our first date. Me mother tried to warn me, but it was too late, and me couldn't let her go after the first day, It's everywhere, man, I search. Without time in my life, me couldn't do me homework. Me have to meet her after school on the way home from church. And when me mother not there home, we dep on the back porch, damn. Tell me where we went wrong, this are the love of my life who inspired every song. She loved me for who I am, she was never a fan. Now every day me see her with all type of man. Me nearly kill a boy, nearly make jail for her. Kick out me mother house, kick out of school just for her. You wouldn't believe when me walk just for her. The money when me spend nearly go broke just because I'm in love with Mary Jane. Me love, me love, me love just to hear that name. Give me a rhythm please now. Well, I say it's an honor to be at the first Hempfest and to open the show, Here I know, when I and I, from rude boy to police, even the thugs on the beat. When I and I rolling in the streets, them, from rude boy to police, them. Even the thugs on the beach, every person I meet, I'm like greetings. From the pastor to the priest, them. Me say me nephew and me niece, them. Even the bums on the beat, every person I meet, I have to greet. If you pass me on this, please no hesitate, you're not afraid to say hi. Then maybe I can sit for a while, and if not, you'll be amazed what I can do with a smile. Greetings. Even though I'm running later, greetings to your heart full of hate, yo. Maybe someday we can conversate and come to an understanding. I know it's not too late. Me greet you as a king and a queen. these streets. Come ride with me, come vibe with me. If you wanna know the life we live, Brethren, you gotta chat these. But first, let me draw you a map. A certain place you go, brethren, you won't come back. You see that shop there? Please don't look no drinking, or that don't look no help from police. Beware of the dirty cops and hustlers, yeah? The streets filled with that. See them liquor youth there? The whole of them shop, blah, blah. It's them a interact with the cops, that's gunshots. No worry, man, you'll get used to that. See a man a sell broom, granny a sell food, Rasta a sell, plus a man a sell crack. What you mean you want to job, you wanna bother look for that? In the streets when things are missing, them don't come back. Man have used to feed, so we can't afford to stop. We have to hustle hard and can't afford to stop. The minimum wage, yo, we not provide that. So when picnics stop, all we hit the streets with the straps and come ride with me, come vibe with me. If you wanna know the life we live, brethren, you gotta chat these streets. Come ride with me, come vibe with me. If you wanna know the life we live, brethren, you gotta chat these streets. A little bit. Well, for years and years, me and Black Sage have been doing some research and try to find a cure for this epidemic called bad mind. And after years and years of research, we come to one conclusion, that there is no cure, virgin. Hear me now, now. Go from your bad mind, I don't need you. Bad vibes you are bring, I don't feel you. You know me, I go through the bad mind, and still bad mind you from you. Bad mind, I don't need you. Bad vibes you are bring, I don't feel you. You know me, I go through the bad mind, and still bad mind you. Black Sage, I don't see this in a while. As a little youth, I can always tell the signs. Hear it when them talk, I can see it when they smile. No, say them sick and I take with bad mind. We tell my friends that we have to make a trot to the hospital. Please save them, God. The doctor come out with him face well sad. We say we happen to me friend him say him happy mind bad from you. Bad mind, I don't need you. Bad vibes you a bring, I don't feel you. You know me, I go through them bad mind me and still bad mind you from you. Bad mind, I don't need you. Bad vibes you a bring, I don't feel you. You know me, I go through them bad mind me. Bad mind me feel the drink that I'm sipping by the bar. Bad mind me when me walk, bad mind me old car. I know me want saving star. The bad mind disease on progress too far. Bad mind me when me poor, bad mind me when me big. Bad mind me when me talk, bad mind me when me sing. The boy bad mind me when me live never think. You pussy me open me potty and sink with. Bad mind, I don't need you. Bad vibes you a bring, I don't feel ya. You know me, I go through them bad mind me and still bad man too. Bad mind, you too bad mind. You hear me? Greetings Hempfest. Let's start out the things. You don't mind, you know. If you don't want you to start out the sound system, I with it, man. Give your praise. You're not a rhythm, please. Right now, you know see the Rasta and shows. Random check yet I me them chose. Physical force them use. Let me take off on me belt and shows. It seems I no herbs like his bombs I use. Me fight for me rights but me always lose. Silence I and I chose. Bumbo clot at the dog them I use. So me saw curse. Me first for 4 blood clot 5 or 6 more my blood bleeds. Me done pay for me flight immigration man. No peace then I get to my seat. You see that the flight take off. Food start serve and only the Rasta eat. Right now me ready to go home. Can me belly start growing this worse than life in the airport with me traveling bag. Me reach reaching at the parking lot. Bridget, we ready to go home and taxi a run, but still none of them not stop. But man a tourist youth and me dress so clean, still no ride for the rasta. And so me start to hitchhike and stretch out me hand. Who stop at the blood clot cops?
Hempfest, Just Van Dyke. Now I'm here standing with a group of guys. You guys gonna go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Nelson Guerrero. I'm the executive director of the Cannabis Cultural Association. I'm here with my co-founders. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Jake Plowden. I'm the deputy director of the Cannabis Cultural Association.
And I'm Zachary Tyson. I'm the treasurer of the board of directors for the Cannabis Cultural Association.
Good stuff. Now tell us a little bit about your association.
Okay, we're a non-profit. We are a 501c3 organization based in New York, dedicated to empowering, educating, creating opportunities for people that look like us in this legal industry, making sure it's owned by the people for the people. That's what we're about, doing it on the legislative end, the grassroots end, really just about educating, getting us all involved.
Right. Now, one thing that you can tell people who might not be too familiar with marijuana, you know, everybody have their views on marijuana. You know, you smoke it, you go crazy, you do wild stuff, but that's because they're not educated about it.
100%.
What is it that you can tell them about marijuana?
I mean, we've lived with 80 years plus of propaganda, of false information. This is a plant that it's even in our system. We have endocannabinoid systems. We share this nature with this plant, with this love with this plant that needs to be free, that we need to educate people that there's so many medical benefits, financial benefits, overall benefits for the community that can really be created with the legalization of this plant going forward.
All right. Now, you know, I always ask myself, why is it illegal in the first place? That's a question that I always ask myself. Is it a pharmaceutical thing? They know the benefits of this plant and they want to have control over it, so this is why it's illegal.
Of course, I mean, they have this plant illegal for many reasons. When it comes to hemp for the industrial purposes, so whether it's creating plastics, concrete, creating different types of fibers, and then on the THC side, we're talking about medicine, life-saving medicine that's going to hurt the dollars of major pharmaceutical companies. That's going to hurt the dollars of these major agencies who are trying to shut this down. This is what the people want. We have to free this plant so we can free the people who have been most affected by this plant.
Right. Now, what are some of the things, apart from coming here to the BVI, that you guys are doing to help further educate persons?
Well, I'm going to let some of my business partners talk about that. Jacob, man?
So we're trying to really expand our international outreach for what's coming for BVI in places like Jamaica and things like that. So doing things like events, seminars, workshops, trying to get people just enamored about what's coming for legal cannabis. So even if you can't afford to open a dispensary, doing something like opening up a vape shop or a bong shop would be more accessible to people who look like us. We just want to be able to show a perception that even if you don't have the money, you have a place in the industry. So we definitely try to open up more ideas to coming into legal cannabis, more than just opening up your own weed shop.
Right. Now, if persons want more information about your association, how can they get that information?
They can check out our website, www.cannacultural.org.com, and also .org, and also check us out on Canna Cultural on all social media, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Yes.
All right, good stuff. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. Anything final you want to get out to your...
Empower the people. Make sure that you guys own this. This is something that you have the opportunity to own and not be employees. Ownership, agency, something you can pass down to further generations.
Yes.
That empower yourselves. Encourage your politicians who are for this, and those who aren't, tell them why they're wrong.
Yes.
All right, good.
Listen, we vote them out. We get the right people in power. That's what it's about.
Right. This is a biologic ancestral right to this plant. Empower the plant, empower the people. We are cannabis culture, and so are you.
Beautiful, good stuff. JTV, ladies and gentlemen, Hempfest 2018 right here in Just Van Dyke. Keep it locked.
How you feeling? Everybody enjoying the vibes? We just warm it up, later gonna be great time. Yeah, man. Moving on, we have two Rastafari brethren gonna come on stage and give us a brief speech. Don't forget to support the bar, cold drinks, food, nice food. We have ital for those who don't eat meat. A lot of Rastaman here in the building today. Alright, so anyway, moving on. We're going to introduce Cool Lion and Ice on stage. Cool Lion and Ice. So show some love for the Belgian them now. Come on.
Yes, yeah, man. Haile Selassie, Jah. Rastafari, Empress Menin. So I'm here now to, well, you know, all of us are here.
Yeah.
You know, and only one discussion we're here to discuss. But most importantly, I'm here to discuss the Rastaman, the Rastafari sacramental rites. I'm here to address the Rastafari sacramental rites, but first I must ask, who is Rastafari? Rastafari is a spiritual movement that leads from an ancient biblical order. This order itself was foundationally called the Nyabingi order. Many may ask, what's the Nyabingi order? The Nyabingi order is one of the most ancient orders of Rastafari. It is a churchical order of Rastafari that consists of prayer, singing, drumming. That is where one gives thanks and praises to the Creator. So now when you hear us, you know, we as Rastafari say that, you know, we partake of the herb. It is because you know, it's our tradition. It's used within our ceremony.
Or sacrament.
Our sacrament. Yes, I am. The herb itself is used within tradition of service, whether if it's before, during service, and sometimes more or less after service. It's used towards bringing our enlightenment towards the spiritual realm within Rastafari.
Yes.
Tradition and ISIS.
Hold on there, my lad. Hold
Yes,
on.
I know.
Hold on. That's right now where the Rastaman are coming here right now. Yes, I want everybody to listen carefully, closely. Stop the chatter and listen. This thing is serious. This thing is important. Right? We are here today to open up the first Ganja Fest in the Virgin Islands, eh? The first, okay, this is a powerful, yeah.
We hear the people clapping, man. They say, Messiah.
Yeah, pick up yourself. You're large. You're breaking barriers, okay? So just put some energy to the towards what's going on, right? Understand that this thing here is a powerful thing, okay? The man just talk about the significance, the spiritual significance of the herb, okay? This is not a joke. Scientists don't know what will be going on with this plant. This plant is so powerful. You got to understand, we the human race, the human being, we believe we're the top of the food chain. We believe we know everything, and we're the wisest and smartest ones. But I'll tell you something that you need to know. Plants are above us. Plants are more intelligent than us. You need to know this, okay? So here we go now.
Yes,
here we go now. I not have your intention, your attention. Plants are much more intelligent than us. So let me continue, and then we're going to get back a little bit on the sacrament and so. But now we grab your attention. Good.
So the Rastafari, for the Rastafari community, you know, we speak of the herb. Well, for us, we know it as the Holy Ancients. Many may wonder, you know, why we call it the Holy Ancients. You know, but if you look at Psalms 91 verse 2, it says, may my prayers be set forth before you like incense. May the lifting up of my hands be like the evening sacrifice. So you could clearly see here, the herb itself is like frankincense and myrrh used within our tradition to bring forward a much more spiritual, positive upliftment and enlightenment. And he moved forward to Genesis 1, verse 29, which says, then the Lord said, I gave unto you every seed bearing plant of this earth, of the whole earth, every tree that has fruit with seed in it, and they will be for your food. For meat, you know, for your food. Yes, I am.
Spiritual food.
So the herb itself, you know, has been seen sacred, you know, unto the Rastaman. That's why for we, even 10 years ago, 15 years ago as Rastafari, we wasn't hesitant towards showing the world that we're gonna hold up this plant to the uttermost degree. When many was hiding, you know, to use this plant because it was called the crazy bush, the Rastaman was using this plant for spiritual enlightenment. And this isn't from 10 years or 20 years ago. This is a generational thing. that we have been using, almost a generational herb. You know, it's been using through generation onto us. So we move forward, you know, to our human rights. Many may wonder what is human rights. What is human rights? Human rights are morals, principles, and norms that describe certain standard of human behavior and are regularly protected as natural and legal rights within municipal and international laws, rights that belongs to every person in the world from birth until death. So tell me, my brother.
Yes, you're talking about rights. The right to be free, right? The right the right to be, as a human being, to have privacy. Okay? Them is the international human rights we're talking about. That every human being, once you come on this earth, it's inalienable human right. You're inalienable right. Any human, no matter which country you're from, no matter what color, no matter whatever, right? That's a right bestowed on you from the time you come onto this earth, right? To be free, right? To choose your own road, to choose your own destiny, right? And also the right to privacy. Now we have cameras on every block, in every supermarket, everywhere, on every ship, on every hilltop, and it erodes the right of human beings everywhere, all over the world. This new world order that we have in place, you know, and it's causing a lot of problems in terms of affecting our behavior, you know, because if you know a camera on you, you can behave a lot different than if you're just sitting there observing nature or something that you know, and just in a meditation. But once you know somebody down there looking at you, your behavior gonna change. You know, it's like that particle, you know, that God particle. Once you start to observe it, the behavior changes, right? Anyway, those are the enabler. I can't even bite it up more to get that thing with, right? You're born with it, you can't get away from it, right?
Actually.
Go along, my lord.
So basically, even to give my brother much more stronger, you know what I mean, foundational towards it still. The basic rights of every human being is based on shared values like dignity, fairness, equality, respect, and independence. So if you have to look at that for the Rasta man, you know that, you know, it's supposed to be of fairness unto us, of equality unto us, to carry such a burden for more or less through so many generations. And then yet, the wicked system has been placed the Rasta man as next to nothing. He was seen as a crazy man within society. But then look at this present time now. Look at the Rastafari community now. We have teachers, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have, you know, a whole arena.
Politician, the whole 9 years Rastafari is everything right now.
Actually.
But go back to that there where we talk about who the person who bear the brunt, the people that bore the brunt of the brutality by this Babylonian system, right? For this seed, for this plant, okay? Today the youths and this generation and this crowd of people here, we could smoke freely now, give thanks and praise to the Most High. We could have our candy and we could have our smiley cake, and you know, we free. But there's a set of people, right? And this is why I am on the stage right now. I could be home enjoying my Sabbath, right? But no, I'm going to put that aside for the greater good of this humanity, because it ain't about Rastafari alone anymore. As you could see, every one of us going to enjoy the benefits of this higher dimension. Okay? Everyone, Indian, Chinese, European, black man, everyone, we're going to enjoy the benefits of this upgrade. Right? So this is where we at right now, and we the ones who suffered for this weed, for this seed. A lot of people come from all over the world, and they don't know how we've been thrown in jail. I myself spent many years in prison. I spent many years in people's hospital with people poking Valium and all kind of different drugs up my arm. I had 5 police stalk me in a room with baton and boots, right? And a white doctor with red beads with a needle in his hand. And I'm fighting for my life, my spiritual life, okay? Because I want to chop off your head, close down your pineal, right? And I know. And they say you become violent and you become like a beast, stronger than a beast. But that's a lie. That's any human being when you put their life at stake. That's a mother when you try to take a child life. That's a chicken when you try to take a chicken from the mom. She could become invincible, she become a human, superhuman. Right? And that's what happened to us when they do us that. And they want to take and pump these drugs up into you and say that you're sick, you're mad, you're crazy. Right? And you're not crazy. If you were crazy, all these people wouldn't be here today. All these people here would be crazy too. You know? And these people ain't crazy, these people are nice people. These people, look at them. Look at them, intelligent, well-behaved. Imagine we have a day like today, and we ain't behaving like animals. We ain't all over the beach smoking weed. Like, that's all you think it's about. That's not what it's about. Yeah, give thanks. Give thanks. I gonna hold it a little, because it's deep. Yeah.
Yes, I am. So, even so, right, with all that my brother said, the sacramental, more or less his testimony still and based on what he been through. This only leads to the Reparation Act. The Reparation Act, many may not know what is reparation. But reparation is the action of making amends for wrong one has done by providing payment or otherwise assistance to those who have been wronged. So if we are here to be reparated, it is only fair to say Rastafari community should be given privilege within the regulation of the herbs, cannabis, sacramentally, medicinally, and also within the economical ventures. And lastly, if these terms are not considered, then we will look into transitional justice, into the transitional justice system, to make legal moves necessary to receive justice that we deserve as a people, as a Rastafari community. It's all about equal rights and justice. Rastafari.
Blessed love, pleasure.
Hempfest 2018, Just Van Dyke, and I'm here with Lion. Lion, how are you doing?
Irie, real Irie. This is Irie.
All right, for persons who might not be familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been with the Rasta community here ever since, from the time I came out of school. So everybody here know me, all the brothers and sisters. I've been with a lot of the organization, helping with a lot of organization of the different groups, Rasta groups, so we find it necessary to come here and represent today.
Right. So what are your thoughts on the Hempfest? I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh wow, a Hempfest? How would this be received? But what are your thoughts on the fest?
I love the energy, I love the vibes. I know that it seemed to me a bit surprising because I expect to see like 1 million people here.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people skeptical, a lot of people ain't sure, and they're gonna get scared away. But those are the people. But those of us who came and who understand what's going on here, right? We could see the future that they're gonna be massive.
Yeah. Now, as a Rastafarian, how important is marijuana within your religion and within your lifestyle? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things, we don't like the word marijuana. It's a negative connotation of the herb. We call it cannabis. We call it anything else. But when you talk about marijuana, from the time you mention that word, it's a negative gonna come up. So, but in terms of how we see the herb, right? We look at the herb as our holy sacrament.
Yeah.
When I get up in the morning, And I said, give thanks, my Lord, for a new day. Give thanks for seeing the sunrise this morning. I take a draw on my chalice. Before I light it, I sit and I speak a few words of prayer, positive, powerful words of prayer. Yeah, and you invoke the name of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I and Empress Menem. Okay, the balance. And by doing that, right, the word song have power and vibration influences anything. So it influences the weed you're going to smoke. It puts you in a good frame of mind. It set the weed in a way, a more holy way to deal with it. So that way we call it a sacrament, right? Because people are going to go and smoke, and then they know to stop and pray before they smoke. Say something positive. So in that way, that is how we use it, like a sacrament, to connect close to Almighty and to connect with Mother Nature.
So for persons out there who have that negative outlook on the herb, what would you say to them to educate them about the herb?
Well, it's ain't nothing I could say to them. They don't have that. But what I would say is that from where we have come to where we are today, if you following that and you connecting the dots, then you will understand that we have already broken through the barrier. So when you could see such a positive outcome from where we start being brutalized and locked down in jail, I myself been choked, put in prison, maximum security prison in a hospital, with doctors looking over you and telling you you're mad. Today them same doctors is who have to go and legalize the herb and tell people.
Right. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Lion. I'm happy to see you here, and hopefully next year again we're gonna be right here again.
Big thing. I mean, much bigger than, and you're gonna see, you're gonna be able to see. And I hope everybody who's watching this interview just come along, man. Don't scared.
Yeah.
We need people up front, strong people like the ones who come here now and put themselves out in front. Like you all here doing this interview now. A lot of people scared. They don't want to take part of this.
Right.
But you people at the cutting edge and the front line. So we're looking to see this grow.
All right, good stuff. Pleasure again, ladies and gentlemen. Hempfest 2018, Sophie B, JTV. Keep it locked.
We're going to introduce another speaker. He's a full-cycle cannabis consultant, Kevin Hoffman.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Thomas Warner. Welcome to Foxy's. I want to thank all of you guys for coming out to the first inaugural Hempfest here at Foxy's. I think what we're starting to do here is an important first step in what's going to be a long journey to the decriminalization and legalization of marijuana here in the British Virgin Islands. I think it's very important that everybody understands that we do this in the correct way. And so we've had a lot of focus on respecting the law and working with the government so that this is a journey and not a battle. One of the most important aspects of the decriminalization of marijuana and turning it into something that can be a benefit to the community is making a business out of it. If it's not a business, it's a hobby. And hobbies take your money. Businesses bring you money. So the next three guys that we have on the stage, they are in the business in America, where many states have taken a very progressive point of view about how cannabis can become part of the state economy. And these guys are going to present their ideas on doing business with cannabis, how it fits into a regulated framework so that the government has an opportunity to understand the business and ultimately tax the business. And then those taxes can be used to build schools. Those taxes can be used to repair the hospital. Those taxes can be used to get us out of debt. and those taxes can be used to fix the roads and employ the people. So these next three guys, they are in the business already, so they have a profound understanding of how this can go from being a hobby to a business. And if there's a part to listen to carefully, this is one of them. All of these messages have been very important, but this is an important one for the government to understand when it comes to moving forward with cannabis in the Caribbean. And I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Hoffman. I've been a yacht captain for 30 years or so, so this is like a second home to me. I was based in West End, so it's nice to be back here. So we all know that we have to legalize cannabis. Nobody wants to see anybody go to jail for a joint anymore, and nobody wants to see, you know, some... Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you. So we're all on the same page there. I've been working in the legal cannabis industry for about 10 years now. And my introduction into the industry was through the Rhode Island Medical Marijuana Program as a caregiver. So I was growing medicine for sick patients. And I'll give you one example. One of my first patients, Kim, was suffering from multiple sclerosis. So she had 70 to 90 seizures, episodic seizures a week. And we grew her this high CBD strain, and it just shut her seizures down completely, down to like 5 a week. So that was a tipping point for me. I was like, wow, this really does work wonders for a lot of sick people in so many different ways. So now we own and operate a state-licensed cultivation, extraction, and processing facility in the state of Rhode Island, named Full Circle Incorporated. And we provide safe, tested, clean medicine to dispensaries and compassion centers. So a little bit about what we've learned over the years. You know, the regulatory and compliance framework, it's an absolute must and a necessity if you want things to roll out properly. If you don't put it in place, you can have a real mess on your hands really, really quickly. So a few things that we've learned about the regulatory and compliance framework. The importance of testing being, you know, pretty paramount. You have to have testing labs. You can't sell things on the shelf to the public that haven't been tested, because there's a lot of things like botrytis and powdery mildews and some, you know, environmental things and you know, God forbid somebody uses pesticides that need to be tested, because you don't want to give medicine to patients that's going to make them sicker. And that's been, we've seen that happen a lot of times with botrytis and powdery mildew. So testing, so you need testing labs in place. Security, you know, I've got on my iPhone my whole facility on camera. It's got to be put in place, and you know, since it is in place, we've had zero problems. And all the other facilities I know, we don't have any security issues. Seed to sale tracking, you know, commercial cultivation requires a lot of reliable climate control, and I'll give you for instance there. For instance, like our drying and curing rooms. They have to be the right humidity and the right temperature, and if we lost power for a couple hours, you know, you lose a whole crop, or you get botrytis or something like that. And it just really requires a team of professional growers and trimmers and processors, and this is an exciting opportunity for the territory because it really can create hundreds of jobs. You know, not only the growers and all that, and the processing and packaging, but, you know, HVAC professionals, electricians, designers, architects, the list goes on and on. I'm going to introduce you real quick to my partners here, Mike Rigo and Mike Zachara, and let them just talk a little bit, and thank you so much.
How's everybody doing? My name is Mike Rigo, and my path to this industry has been a little bit different than Kevin's. I'm a former law enforcement officer. I was a narcotics detective for most of my career, and now I am sitting here as the CEO of a medical cannabis company in Baltimore, Maryland. So the journey has been quite a bit, but it's been unbelievable. I'm here with a couple of messages. You're going to see people who are not fans of this for whatever reason, whether it's government, whether it's individuals. They're going to try to use things like fear and intimidation to convince you this is not the right thing. That does not work. We in the industry, especially my background in security, do not use fear and intimidation. We use trust and cooperation. That has to happen. Regulation, trust, cooperation, and transparency are key. And I come from a security background, and when I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. It's worked everywhere I've been, from the state of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, state of New York, in one of the most crime-ridden cities in America today, Baltimore, Maryland. We have not had an issue if you do it right and you do it correct and you use those models that I put into place. So I'm here to tell you the days of fear and intimidation are over. If it's done correctly, it will be safe, effective, life-changing medicine for many, many people. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, just to follow up, one of the key things that we found, it's really important to have a strong team of individuals, both a really talented grower, but also a security person, somebody like Mike who's got police background. I'm a lawyer, so I do all the legal work, but the most important thing is in setting up a business here in the BVI is to have an experienced team, and we'd be happy to talk to anybody who's interested in learning more about the business and the industry and how you need to go about setting things up here if you're interested in doing a growing or extraction or processing operation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Give it up. Give a round of applause, man, for those guys. Come on, give it up for them guys, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Moving on again. Welcome on stage. The original, no carbon copy. Hi, Mo. You ready for this?
Yeah, man, greetings to all. Yeah, man, Foxy, large up yourself on such a large event, you know. Yeah, man, Tom, Wana, the large, Misha, the whole massive. Right there and then, I knew you were the one to make me go. I never doubted, I kept the faith all along. And this is why, Jaja, you're my God, you're my King, you're the ruler over everything. You're the wind beneath my wings, you're the voice that make me sing. You're the star, the sun, the moon up in the sky. Them I see the mistakes and I deny. Them I look for idol God, I'll feel glorified. And I put no trust in all the Most High. You're my shield, my buckler, you're my fortress. You're my God, my everything, I have his shoulders. You're the... How I said, Josh Van Dyke? Yeah, man. Jaja, you're my lifeline. Cause of you, make my light shine. You said anything I want could be mine. I was lost, but now I'm fine. Feeling, next track. Yeah, yeah, man. All about praises to the Most High, you know. And Briley said I said the first. Jah Rastafari. Yeah, man. Yeah. Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. All we need is Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. Unify and feel this love. Come wrong, people, come wrong. Feel the love now. Love. How am I say? It's the kind of love that's unconditionally. He give it love, he show it mercy. He share his love, he no partial with it. Jana you, Jana I, Jah in everybody. Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. All we need is Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. Unify and feel this love. It's Jah love, it keeps us strong. I'm trying on. I always keep Jah love close to me, cause the wicked them always trying to get at me. Solid as a rock, standing firm like a cedar tree. Rooted in Jah love, it's only Jah and me. Some are sick, but them no find it. You're blessed anytime you find it. Seek and search and you will find Jah love is one of a kind. We need Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. All we need is Jah love, Jah love, Jah love. Unify and feel this love. It's Jah love, it keeps us strong. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, same time, you know. Can't come and now bless up the lady, them there, first them, the good woman, them there about, you know. Make them know them words. Make them say. Make them know I must say so. Pull it from top, my lad. All right. Yes, Foxy. Big up yourself once again. All the massive that came out, you know, to support this lovely event. I mean, it's for our cause, you know. Yeah, all the lovely ladies, bless up yourself. It's you. 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 Humble like a bee violet, and you will see what a woman so deserving. I'm the whip to her cream, I'm walking, she's my queen. A diamond, bread preserving. A woman full of a good attitude. What she bring to the table, pure true attributes. A true reflection of investment, and say that's the truth. Ain't no denying. She's a lady, she's my baby. Never let her go, could I never let her out of my arms. She's the lady, she's my baby. Always keep her close, I always keep her in my heart. Her beauty extends to the highest point. Her loyalty gone over the hill. When she says she keeps me satisfied, her innocence gives me the chill. I must commend upon her reasoning skill. Good conversation when we reasoning. And if I'm wrong, ain't no person, she let me know. Cause in her thing, cause she's a lady, she's my baby. Never let her go, could I never let her out of my arms. She's the lady, my baby. Always keep her close. It's you. 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 No. Humble like a bee violet, and you will see what a woman so deserving. I'm the whip to her cream, I'm her king, she's my queen. A diamond worth preserving. A woman full up of good attitude. What she bring to the table, pure true attributes. A true reflection of impressed men, and that's the truth, ain't no denying. That she's a... Yeah, man. Next track, man. Yeah. And this is why we are here. You know? Marijuana, hemp, cannabis, ganja, sativa, whatever you want to call it, still, you know? Are the same thing. Look. it for medicine, and some go use it for pleasure. No matter what the illness is, I'm sure it can be cured by this plant of power. It's mystical and intriguing. Low, come again, from top. Yeah, man. So we are talking about the herb, you know. It's just not about the smoking. For all different reasons, you know. Yeah. So we are packeting. Some use it for medicine, and some go use it for pleasure. No matter what the illness is, I'm sure it can be healed by this plant of power. It's mystical and intriguing. No wonder them had it undercover. And now we find what the truth is. They say them maga legalize medical marijuana. Go sow the seed and grow this plant. And more ganja we need and more ganja we want. And now them coming with a strategy. So them legalize it, you can have a certain quantity. But you have to get your ganja card. We using marijuana. And that we use, and that we go, and that we need marijuana. Foxy send a high get spray for me, please. Marijuana. Monsanto, don't mess with this breed, please. Cause if you mess with this breed, you violate me. I make me roll it up. Mr. Police boy, me say, no hold it up. Cause when we reach home for work, me I chop it up, cut it up, load it in the chalice up. So watch me eyes and I say what's up. Me watch them back and I say what's up. They don't wanna see me high, they wanna see me drunk. Cause we using marijuana. And that we use, and that we go, and that we need marijuana. Foxy send a high grade spray for me, please. Marijuana. Monsanto. Hey. Cause if you mess with this breed, you violate me. Some use it for medicine, and some go use it for pleasure. No matter what the illness is, I'm sure it can be healed by this plant of power. It's mystical and intriguing. No wonder them had it undercover. And now we find what the truth is. They say them are gonna legalize medical marijuana. Go sow the seed and grow this plant. And more ganja we need and more ganja we want.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hempfest 2018 over here in beautiful Just Van Dyke, and I'm here with Aragon. How are you?
I'm cool, thanks.
You're cool. Yeah, you seem cool and relaxed.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about your booth here today.
Yeah, we've had a big display of what we grow on our farm. We have an organic farm in Tortola on the north side up in Turnbull Estate, and we grow pretty much a broad range of everything from carrots to all the herbs, spinach, lettuces, arugula. We did good with mangoes and avocados, but the storm took out a few of the trees. But we have bananas and pineapples, guava berries, all good, broad range of local fruit.
Right, and people, they come out and they get all of this fresh stuff. They love it?
Yeah, they do love it. And what we do is we have a website. It's goodmoonfarm.com, and you place your order online. And then you go down the wish list that we have online, and then you select what you want, and then we pack it and deliver it anywhere in the BVI.
Nice. And can we find your stuff also in the local supermarkets?
You won't actually. You might if you're lucky. If we have a lot of stuff, we'll sell it to the supermarket. But we try and avoid selling to the supermarket because they only buy things at really deflated prices because they're used to buying all the imported stuff from the US, and which is a subsidized agricultural system. So they used to buying things real cheap, and that's actually holding the local farmers back. We try and sell it direct to the customer.
Right. So then basically just come on down to Beef Island and get your fresh.
No, you order online and we deliver.
Okay.
But the other way is to get it every month. Now we're doing a farmers market in the Oliver George's Plaza in town. And so she should definitely come to the next one. Next Saturday is the farmers market, and you would enjoy to see. This is just my little table, but when you see 10, 12, 15 other tables loaded with local produce, it makes you change your mind.
Right.
Because the myth that you were brought up and I was brought up under. You from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, me too. And so I'm telling you, we were brought up under a mythology that makes you believe that you can't grow food in the BVI. You heard that? We can't grow food here, Everything at this table came out of the ground this morning, and that's one little farm. And imagine if you organize the communities to grow a lot more food. It would change everything.
So let's go back to your accent.
Yeah.
So you were born here, or you oh, really? Okay, cool stuff. I like your accent, but I like how you make
accent, you know.
Say that again?
I got all kind of accent. I got to tell you, I could put on a lot of different Caribbean accents.
Really?
And communicate because it's a language.
I agree.
Kapale patwa?
Well, no, okay, you're gone. So you're eating some carrots. So you just could just eat it out the ground like that? You don't gotta wash it or nothing?
I washed it already.
Oh, you wash it already? No.
Eat it.
Eat up here or down here?
Top.
The top part?
Crunchy and real.
That's actually nice and sweet.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay, so for persons looking on, give them your contact information.
Goodmoonfarm.com. What we do, if you don't want to pick out individual things, you can actually order a farm box. And we do this a lot for more and more for people in offices in Roadtown. They like get a $40 box or a $60 box, and we deliver it to your office or your workplace. And we say it's free delivery from Roadtown to East End or to East, but if you West End or Naniki on a boat, we put it in a taxi and you pay it. It's the way to get local organic food.
Cool beans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure meeting you. Aragon is your name?
You got it.
All right, good stuff. More to come, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it locked. Welcome back. We are here now with Amika, and she represents Essentials Limited.
VI Essentials Limited.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
We sell handmade, handcrafted luxury soaps. There are no fats, no animal fats, byproducts, or anything of the sort in there. They're all handmade right here in the Virgin Islands, and they have different scents. And most of all, we have a lot of local. We try to incorporate, everything that is found here in the Virgin Islands, like moringa, neem. We have a soap that has impure papaya, and all essential oils and fragrance oils as well.
Okay, so what are some of the benefits for using your natural soaps?
So a lot of people have a lot of skin allergies, as I do. I can't use any and every soap. As of an allergic reaction.
Right.
So a more milder, doesn't have as much chemicals and all of that processed stuff you won't find in any of our soaps.
Right. So you actually have a factory here, and you make all of this right here in the BVI.
It's actually made in St. Thomas.
In St. Thomas, okay. Cool beans. All right, so if persons want to get some of your soaps, how can they go about doing that?
They can contact us at info@viessentials.com. We also have a website, but it's still under construction because we're a newly incorporated business. But they can send us a message. I do travel to the BVI like almost every week. So if they do want to place an order, they can contact us and we bring it over.
Cool beans. All right. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Amika. Anything else you want to get out there to the people of the Virgin Islands?
Happy Hemp Day. It isn't Hemp Day, but we are. Yes, we will. And we are enjoying the fair.
Good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, more to come. Keep it locked. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, JTV Hempfest 2018. I'm now here with the legendary Joseph Hodge. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Now, for people who might not be familiar with you, give us a little background about yourself.
Well, I've been painting all my life, doing different style of art. You have palette knife, you have fine art, three-dimensional. This is a bubbly pool, and these are some of my work that I do, three-dimensional, with the same acrylic paint on canvas. And a lot of people collect these, collector's item. And this large painting is Sandy Key with a catamaran. This is something started in the 80s. The catamaran was very new to the island. And you got some sites over here. The painting of the Mount Kelty, Bruce Bay, the largest plantation in the BVI. You got the lionfish and they got segment of the hurricane after effect.
So all of this you do freehand, by hand?
Yep.
Amazing stuff. I can't even draw a stick, man. Like, really, this is absolutely...
He's a good instructor.
A good instructor?
Yep, and here he is.
All right, so I could take up some classes with you then?
Easy, easy.
All right, good stuff. So why was it important for you to be a part of the Hempfest today?
Well, I was told about it, and I wanted to be a part of it because you have to know what's going on in the BVI.
I agree.
And these days, this is high time. So Foxy is a good friend of mine, and I always like to support whatever he's doing.
All right. Now, if persons want to get one of your paintings, how can they go about doing that?
Well, they contact me wherever I'm set up. I normally be at King Garden Bay. I'm here today for the first time. We're trying to make this an annual thing where people would come out and support the art, not just me, but other artifacts. And we have a lot going on. I kind of reached late because today was a sad day for me as well as good. I buried my mother today.
My condolences.
She was 97.
Wow, full life.
Full life, yeah.
All right, well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Hodge. And do you have a telephone number if persons would want to call?
Sure, you could dial me at 543-0563.
Good stuff, ladies and... Sorry?
These stuff are very hot. People like them, and they're tangible. They're not fragile, and you could travel them. They're framed, and they're only $65.
Very reasonable.
Thank you.
Very reasonable. Because that's a lot of work that you put into that, so that's very reasonable.
And this is something you see in this one particularly that I used to do. We used to fish on the mangrove, and you come down here and see some of them. And they're all different. They're all different. And they talk about a culture. Very long time ago, this is how people live.
So ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Mr. Hodge for these fine paintings. Absolutely talented. We're here at Hempfest, Just Van Dyke 2018. JTV, keep it locked.
A professor at HLSCC. He will address how cannabis might and might not fit into the proud and diverse committee that meet the Virgin Islands. He is closely tuned to the people and their needs, and how new regulation enforced and the income will impact the Virgin Islands and its people. Welcome on stage, Shawanda Uhuru. Give it up for him. I pronounced it right? Shawande Uhuru. All right? Sorry.
Thank you, my brother. And let me say a pleasant good afternoon to all of you gathered here today for this historic Hempfest. First thing I want to do is give a salute to Sir Foxy Carlwood and also Tom, who is the organizer of this event, along with your whole team. Give them a round of applause. I also want to show honor and respect to residents and visitors, residents of Just Van Dyke. This is a beautiful island, and you're looking good. It's the first time I've been over here since the storm. And I just have to say that, you know, thanks and appreciation for everybody who donated and who pitched in to ensure that Just Van Dyke comes back to be the gym. It's still a gym, really, but a more polished gym here in the Virgin Islands. It's a beautiful place. I love it over here. Yes, and I want to show special appreciation and recognition for the Rastafari community here in the Virgin Islands. I want to recognize as well Rastafari Progressive Unity, which has been organizing themselves to make Rastafari, the representation of Rastafari in the Virgin Islands, much more organized, much more pronounced, you know, and all of the important missions, you know, that need to be fought for, they're at the forefront of it. So I want to show recognition for Rastafari Progressive Unity. to be here because I know some persons who are politicians or political aspirants may say, well, it's a little risky for me to be associated with a Hempfest, especially in a Virgin Islands community which has been very conservative. But I want to say without a shadow of a doubt that I am proud to be associated with this event. I believe that we're going to look back. Years on, we're going to look back and we're going to say that this Hempfest was an important step on the road to legalization or normalization of the use of marijuana. So one of the first things we have to do is remove the stigma from a God-given plant. There is a stigma associated with the use of marijuana, and we have to remove that stigma. We have to take the responsible use of marijuana from the fringes and into the mainstream. And I think that Foxy and the whole team is doing a good thing for the community to bring out this discussion out in the open and in a beautiful venue such as this. So you're to be congratulated for taking that important step. I'm going to tell you what are some of the benefits that I see associated with the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes, and at least the decriminalization of marijuana for recreational purposes. So some of the benefits, as I see it, has to do with the medical benefits. And here in the Virgin Islands, we have lots of persons who suffer from conditions like cancer, glaucoma, asthma, and it's good for your eyes. And there's no longer a debate. There's no longer a debate. Marijuana has been proven by scientists, by persons in the medical profession, to have a number of medical benefits. And we are hurting the population of the sick by restricting the use of marijuana. I used to, just based on common sense and the stories of persons, you know, both locally, regionally, and abroad, I came to the conclusion that it was good for you. But then I saw Sanjay Gupta, who was a correspondent, chief medical correspondent on CNN. And I said that I saw that he had to apologize to the people for saying that marijuana was bad for your health. Now this is a neurosurgeon, and he had to apologize. And this is CNN, a reputable organization, depending on who you speak to. The chief medical correspondent, who's a neurosurgeon, apologized to the world, condemning marijuana, and he had to come on the other side of the debate and actually encourage persons and educate persons about the benefits of marijuana. And he produced a documentary, and it was very powerful. Perhaps you've seen it. He produced a documentary called Weed Part 1 and Weed Part 2. And in one of those documentaries, there was a little girl, just a couple years old, and she had something called Dravet syndrome, which is a form of epilepsy that results in death probably by the time a child gets to about 6 years old. Yes. So she had marijuana. She did not smoke a spliff or a joint or whatever you want to call it, because that's not the only form that you can partake of this God-given gift. You can make oil out of the marijuana. You can even make food. You can inhale it as a vapor. So when you have persons who are suffering from these terrible conditions, they don't just have to think about marijuana as something that you smoke. If they're not really comfortable in partaking in it in that form, there are other forms you can take it. And this young girl, I think her name was Charlotte Figgy, she took marijuana in the form of an oil, and she was down from, I think they were saying she had 300 or 400 seizures a week to maybe about 2 or 3, and was able to live far beyond, and continues to live far beyond anyone expected her to live. And we have persons here. My grandmother passed away a few years ago, and she had breast cancer. And I always questioned to myself whether my grandmother would still be living today if she had, as a benefit to her, to be able to deal with her condition. Marijuana, the access to marijuana, because on the same weed documentary, they reported that cancer, marijuana is being studied as a possible cure for cancer. And we all know the pain associated with losing loved ones in our community to cancer. And just imagine that marijuana is a potential, well, I believe it, but we just need all the studies to confirm it. Marijuana is a potential cure for cancer and a number of other conditions. And without a shadow of a doubt, it is clear that marijuana has saved countless lives. So those are just some of the medical benefits of legalizing marijuana right here in the Virgin Islands. But we also have social benefits. We have social benefits because whether we agree with it or not, whether we agree or disagree, there are persons who use marijuana for recreational purposes. There are several persons, even persons I know in the community, who condemn the use of marijuana. But I know that they have family members that perhaps they may not know use marijuana, that's using marijuana for recreational purposes. And we would not like to see those young persons locked in jail for something as trivial as smoking a joint. Especially when we know, and the scientific community has recognized, that marijuana is not more harmful than alcohol or for tobacco smoking. But yet alcohol is legal, tobacco smoking is legal, and marijuana is not. I currently am teaching a class up at the prison on Tortola and Balsam Gut. And I know several young men in prison spending time in prison because either the sale or cultivation or possession of marijuana. And I'm saying to you that that is a social injustice. And it's something that we have to stop immediately. Imagine today if we decided that someone drank a bushwhacker or they drank some Hennessy and we're going to lock them in jail for that. Those things are persons' personal choices, and as long as it's not impacting somebody else negatively, as long as persons are educated on the proper use of it, then they should be free to exercise their democratic choices. Locking someone in prison for something like that is backwards. It's not progressive. And we have to stop that. And that's why persons all over the globe right now, and even right next door in the US Virgin Islands, places like Antigua and Barbuda and Jamaica, are either legalizing fully or decriminalizing. Because the social injustice that's taking place is one that we can no longer tolerate. Let me move on to some economic benefits as I see it. Right now in the Virgin Islands, I'm not sure how many of you know, but we are facing a number of economic crises. We are facing crises as a result of some disasters that we have been going through. As you all know, 2017, we had some devastating natural disasters, including a flood. One of the worst floods we've seen here in history, obviously because of climate change. That's taking place right now, okay? But we also had a hurricane blow through here by the name of Irma, a very destructive lady. She came here and she did a lot of damage, and now the tourism product is struggling to recover because Irma came out and nearly wiped out all our properties, residential and commercial, and for tourism purposes. Came and destroyed our businesses and made it very difficult for persons to visit, but I'm thankful for everyone here who's visited the Virgin Islands right here after Irma. You should give yourselves a round of applause for being so awesome and coming here. Those persons who are visitors. But we had this storm, and it destroyed our economy, it nearly destroyed our economy. And we also have currently a situation where the United Kingdom is threatening what we call the financial services industry. And for years, persons have been speaking about the diversification of the economy. But almost as a matter of survival, we have to do it now. We must diversify our economy. And we have to look towards things like the cultivation of marijuana as something that can help strengthen our economy. We know for a fact that there is already a marijuana economy in the Virgin Islands, but it's one that is illegal. And it's very lucrative at the moment. But I was witnessing some of the numbers that our economist friends and our PhD friends and our business persons were giving, some of the numbers associated with the cultivation and sale of marijuana. And it's astronomical. And it's something that can clearly help us in the diversification of our economy. And we know already that a part of, even now, even illegal, that marijuana is already a part of the iconography of tourism. We know that the Caribbean, well, Rasta is international, but we know the Caribbean is very closely associated with the Rastafari movement. We know that. And whether it's right or wrong, one of the things you associate almost immediately with Rastafari, the followers of Rastafari, is the use of their sacrament, the orb. So you know that already the use of marijuana is in the consciousness of the people and is even already, even though illegally, a part of our tourism product here and in other places around the world. But I believe that normalization, regularization, legalization will even take the potential of our tourism product even further. And places like Jas Van Dyke, because we have such a big tourism product, we have so many islands, it's something that can be diverse. Our tourism product can be diverse. And that's something that I would like to see continue, a Hempfest on Jas Van Dyke. I think it's something that can grow and can be part of the unique diversity of tourism that exists here in the Virgin Islands. We already spoke about the tax benefits, previous speakers. But right now, our government is facing a serious problem when it comes to revenue. The government needs more revenue to fix the infrastructure, to fix the roads, to fix the sewage, to make sure that every home on Jas Van Dyke and all over the Virgin Islands has a reliable supply of potable water, right? We have to build up our schools. The schools over here in Jas Van Dyke,
they need a lot of work. In the Virgin Islands, generally our schools need work. Okay? There are a lot of different things that the government has to spend money on. Okay? But they just don't have the money. You know? And this is even before the storms. Now we are in severe crisis because we have to maintain all our different infrastructures, health infrastructure, education infrastructure, social infrastructure. We have to pay persons who work for government, and it's a very difficult task. And we have some very important decisions ahead. So marijuana can help with all of those things. I have to say as well that there is the perspective that is a discussion that's even taking place right now. That's saying marijuana production is being considered here in the Virgin Islands. But there's some person saying that it should be a monopoly. That wealthy persons, okay, both abroad and locally, should have one company that is cultivating marijuana and selling marijuana. And I'm completely against that. You cannot lock persons in prison for years. You cannot give them these astronomical fines like somebody like Sister Joyce. I remember when Sister Joyce got in trouble for having some marijuana on her person. And she was given a fine of $60,000. And she had children to feed. And she had to maintain herself as well. And to give a young mother like that a fine of $60,000 to make her life even more difficult than it was before. And to have persons sitting down in a very small space behind bars for marijuana for years. And then when it's time to reap the benefits, when it's time to make some money from marijuana, you say, no, those opportunities are not for you. It's just going to be for one or two wealthy individuals. I'm completely against that. And it's a matter of social justice to ensure that the entire population is able to realize, every segment, every sector is able to realize the economic benefits of the legalization of marijuana. I'm going to end my comments there, but let me just say this. Now is the time to legalize marijuana. We don't have to wait for every single country in the world to legalize before we do here. We can actually endeavor to become a leader regionally and maybe even internationally when it comes to the science of it, the study, the research, and the responsible sale of it and the responsible regulation of it. I should say something about the regulation before I end, because I don't want anyone to get the impression that I believe that we should just let marijuana loose throughout the community and little children can smoke it and and they can have it in your face in the public, and that's not a problem. I believe that we have to have a conversation about what the limits should be as it pertains to marijuana use. Because if you're operating heavy machinery or you're driving on the highways, it's important for you not to be impaired. And what is established, what are the safe limits of use of marijuana and doing other things that could be dangerous. And we have to make sure that adults are the ones who make these type of choices. Okay? So marijuana use must be regulated, yes. But to completely restrict it, to have prohibition of marijuana, I don't think it's serving us well here. I think it'll even be of safer use and persons can be educated on the proper use of it if we go ahead and legalize it. It'll make it safer, It will protect persons from being exploited. It will even help us with dangerous crime. So now is the time for us to legalize marijuana. We cannot allow fear. We cannot allow this stigma to keep us in the past. We have to move forward for our future. So I thank you for your attention. I thank you again, Tom, Foxy, for inviting me here to speak. And I want you all to continue to enjoying yourselves, the lovely sounds of the DJ and anyone performing. Thank you.
Yes, man. Shoot some love for the creator, man. Thank you very much for a very powerful message, and I hope that is taken in consideration for the discriminalization of cannabis in the BVIs. Now is the time. Introducing. He is no stranger. He is a living legend. He was honored by the Queen. Welcome on stage, the big man himself, the Foxy Colwood. Big up Foxy right here. We have the man himself, you know. Foxy!
Bring it up! Bring it up!
Got it? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all. I want to thank all the sponsors that help us make this possible. I want to thank the group here at Foxy's, and which I call the Lucky Seven, that help us put this all together. I thank my family, beautiful wife, and thank you for making the trip. Well, I thank you. Well, it makes no sense for me to go through telling you all what the goodness of it is, but all I can tell you is give you a little proof of somebody who have been smoking it now since 1968. And so I think you'll rather hear a little bit about myself than all that those boys took care of it, right? I was born in this island in 1938. Just a few days ago, I figured out something about the first Colwood that came to Yosemite. The family started out in Scotland, from Scotland to England, from England to America through Boston, from America to the Virgin Islands, wound up on Great Touch, from Great Touch to Cane Garden Bay, where they got in the economy in those days were sugar cane and rum and sugar and all that. It came down to 3 Scottish brothers. One of them, by the name of Cain Colwood, came to Yosemite to grow sugar cane to send back to the family's distillery. When he got here, he broke the norm. I found out he broke the norm. Could you imagine a family in those days owning sugarcane fields and distilleries, and all of a sudden one of the sons go and marry to a slave's daughter? Well, that's what he did. He broke the norm in those days. Well, would you believe, after 5 generations, I went and broke the norm myself. What I did was to marry the slave owner's daughter. Yeah. Would you believe I break the norm there again? And how I will manage to get this woman was an adventure in itself. In 1971, I had these 4 sons. These boys were born 2 a year, 2 this year and 2 next year. No twins. What happened in those days? There was no television on the island as yet. So after having them like that, I could not find a girlfriend locally to save my life. So whenever a boat would sail in and the captain would have a gorgeous cook, I always tried to get her to spend the weekend ashore with me, and this used to piss the captains off very much. This one captain came back 6 months later, got me to go out on his boat for dinner, give me so much to drink, I want to come ashore. He said, no, Foxy, spend the evening with us, and we're going to take you ashore in the morning. Took him up on it, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and the boat was to sea. The next land that man let me saw was Fayel in the Azores. I didn't find her, they sailed me to Gibraltar. From Gibraltar, Palermo, Sicily, Greece, just about all the Greek islands, Mykonos, Sifnos, Idras, and Arini, down to Rhodos, up to Corfu, Brindisi, Italy, across the Scarpio, split Dubrovnik, the whole Dalmatian coast, came back to Corfu. He kicked me off the boat. He said, if you do not find a wife, we ain't going to sail you back to the Caribbean to be a freak to me and the other captains when bring our cooks to us one day. When he kicked me off in Corfu, I flew back to Greece searching. Then I took a train to Munich. Then I flew to Switzerland, Belgium, Holland, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Leiden. Thought that I'd find wooden shoes to suit the terrains here. Only wooden shoes I saw in Holland was in the glass cage for the tourists. Came back to Munich, Germany, weather started to get cold after a week or so. Said I better check out some warmer territories. Flew down to Barcelona, Spain, thinking how to check out the senoritas in Spain. Did not find her in Barcelona. I took a train to Tarragona. While searching the bars for her in Tarragona, who should I run into? The same doggone captain. He said, you didn't find a wife as yet? I said, no, Skip. He said, get your black ass on the boat, let's keep on searching. I got on the boat in Tarragona, we kept searching down the coast of Spain, no wife. We came to Gibraltar, the third bar I searched, I saw her. I grabbed up rod for ashore, head for the West Indies. Drop anchor out here, grabbed up rod for ashore, here we are, 47 years, happily ever after, 3 babies to prove it, and 4 grandbabies to prove it. And there's only one lie in that story. I did not get shanghaied. I willingly walked aboard a boat and did all I told you I did and bring her back. Thank you. So, before the hurricane, a buddy of mine in Atlanta said, Foxy, I just built me $1 million recording studio. I would like you to cut the first album in this studio. So I said, if I'm going to do such a job, I'm going to make a song that's going to make the world smile. So I came up with this little one. Ready for it? As you know, we went through a hurricane, right? That's why plenty people think we are insane, 'cause we got struck by Category 5 hurricane. That hurricane came from afar. She came from the land of Africa. I am telling you that she traveled far, bearing the name of Omar, but not too many people know Hurricane Omar was a hoe. And the reason why I know, 'cause that hurricane had like to blow. When I tell you this, you know, it ain't no tease. All you got to do is check the palm trees and you would see what I say. Omar blew most of their nuts away. I hope it don't make you blue, 'cause Omar blew away my nuts too. That hurricane had like a lot. She blew away my nuts and left me with my lips. Da 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 dip, ba ba da da dip, da 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 da. I'm telling you, I don't want no blister, But Oma did have a younger sister. Please, you listen to this. I know that younger sister was Spanish. I'm gonna tell you this, and I care who else would have a name like Maria. Oh, believe you me, this is true. Maria had like to blow too, and if you are not deaf, she blew away the nuts that Oma had left. Oh, believe me now, I am not insane. I hope I never see Oma come back again. But this is really, really the fact. If she returns, I hope she brings my nuts back. Yeah. Well, one more I'm going to do for you. I made this up quite a few years ago because they asked me to do, they had what they call a education week for the country. Started out in Anagara, wound up on Yosemite night. Put me on a program to do a selection. I did this one. In the middle of an island, there in the middle of an ocean, lots of time for sailing and walking barefoot in the sand. But there's no island at all, just a picture there upon the wall. But there are no people, oh how I wish we could be in the middle of an island, in the middle of an ocean, lots of time for sailing and walking barefoot in the sand. But there's no picture at all hanging up on no doggone plaster wall. I said, oh people, right now, cannot you see we in the middle of this island, beautiful Just Van Dyke Island, lots of time for sailing and walking barefoot in the sand. Well, while I was singing the song, I realized that the chief minister and all the ministers of government was in the front row. So I asked the chairman if I could sing one more song. I told him I didn't think it was the kids alone need educating. I told him I think the adults need educating from time to time. They gave me the permission, so I sang them this little one. Well, we are not smart enough to export no cabbage, but we will import every charter boat's garbage. Tell me if I'm telling any lies. Without an incinerator, we only creating flies. Just as Jos Van Dyke was getting over the hump, we voted to turn her into a garbage dump. So you tell me, if this is not funny, we import garbage, the treasury exports money. One more verse, I'm gonna make it frank. I think most of those boats should have been a holding tank, because the waters is gonna become unfit for people to swim, cause it's gonna get filled up with and the beaches gonna lose their pole. Then the people really gonna call us the third world. Well, one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, like I say, I hope that you all learned something today. We all learned something today, and I hope it goes the way that those speakers were going. So, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, you know how this island got its name? Yeah, you know, a Dutch pirate was sailing through the islands, and he wanted to know if there was any people living on the island. He sent in one of his crew to check the island out. Midday gone, crew did not show up. Sun going down, captain finally saw crew rowing coming to the boat. Checked him out, found out his clothes was in rags. Face was all scratched up and bleeding with fingernail marks. Captain shouted out to him, "Are there any women ashore?" Guy looked up faintly and he was half dead and he shouted out, "Just Van Dyke." Name stuck with the island until this day. Good night.
Okay. Yes, make some noise one more time for the legend Foxys.
JTV, it's your girl, the one and only Sophie B. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're over here at the beautiful island of Just Van Dyke, and we're chilling out at Foxy's, where they're having the first ever Hempfest. And I'm sitting next to a legend. This is actually my first time meeting him, my first time actually having a word with him. Good afternoon. How you doing, Foxy?
I'm excellent, especially this is going on so fine, so good.
Right.
You know.
While you were on stage, you mentioned that you had your first experience with hemp marijuana at in 1968, and we're now in 2018, so that's a very long time. But I mean, tell us your feeling about marijuana and why you think that it should be legalized within in the Virgin Islands.
I don't find the hurt they're talking about, and I see where it is good for the economy.
Right. Now, of course, marijuana have a lot of health benefits. You know any of the health benefits?
Oh yeah, they said it's good for glaucoma, it's good for the heart, it's good for a lot of things.
A lot of things.
Yes, my daughter no more.
You're not tomorrow. All right. Well, again, this is the first Hempfest. Can we see this again next year? This is going to be an annual thing?
Depends on how you all feel. You are the media. You have to say whether it was good or bad.
Well, I think a lot of information was given here today, so people who were not too sure about it and they got the information today, I think this is something we're going to see every year.
Well, this is all you got to do now, put it out there to more people.
Right.
You are the media.
We are the media.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Anything else you want to get out to the people of the BVI?
People of the BVI, let's legalize it. Let's legalize it.
All right, good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. JTV, keep it locked.
Reasons, you know. Yeah. So we are packeting. Some use it for medicine, and some go use it for pleasure. No matter what the illness is, I'm sure it can be healed by this plant of power. It's mystical and intriguing. No wonder them had it undercover. And now we find what the truth is. They say them are legalize medical marijuana. Go sow the seed and grow this plant. And more ganja we need and more ganja we want. And now them coming with a strategy. So them legalize it, you can have a certain quantity. But you have to get your ganja card. We using marijuana. And that we use, and that we go, and that we need marijuana. Foxy send a high get split for me, please. Marijuana. Monsanto don't mess with this breed. Cause if you mess with this breed, you violate me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Just Van Dyke Hempfest 2018, and I'm here with the lovely. Your name?
Lisa Gray.
And your name is?
Matt Clark.
Now tell us a little bit about your display here today.
Well, it's basically back to arts and crafts, which is like going back 25 years for me. Back to the basics, arts and crafts. I've had a picture frame business and an art gallery for 20 years or so, and it's just nice to go back to like street markets and yeah.
Cool beans. So tell us a little bit about the stuff that you have here.
Well, we have like some handcrafted items. Most of them we've done ourselves. Virgin blues, some necklaces from my friend in Trinidad, some some little frames with shells in them.
Marbleized t-shirts.
Yeah, behind you can see the marbleized t-shirts. That's from Trinidad, tie-dye baby outfits, and some Haitian canvases.
Yeah. Now, this right here is the true definition of a big head spliff. Now, you made this?
Yes, I made that from scratch.
What did you make it out of?
I started with wood and I wrapped it in paper. I finished it off with acrylic paint, and then I touched it up. I did a little hot pink and kind of copperish looking glitter to give it a sense of it's burning.
Right.
And just touched it up in the right areas to where it looked like we thought it would be a memento, or like a conversation piece, or maybe a photo opportunity.
Now, if anybody smokes this, they ain't waking up till next year.
No, they could never light it because it's really solid wood.
This is pretty cool, awesome stuff. Now, if persons are interested in getting some of your art here, how can they go about doing that?
They can contact us through images, through Lisa, and we can do custom orders. We can make an array of different things. Foxy was up here and looking over our items earlier, and he actually said, "You and I need to talk." He said, "I like what I see."
Nice.
You guys represent a variety of island things, and so yeah, that's nice to hear that from somebody that's allowing us to be a vendor at his event.
Right. And what is your contact number?
Well, email address is images@surfbvi.com. IMAGES@surfbvi.com.
Good stuff. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. I think your stuff are super duper cool. Ladies and gentlemen, JTV, Hempfest 2018, Just Van Dyke. Keep it locked.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. And I spent oh so many nights just thinking how you did me wrong. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high and you see me. Somebody new, I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And now you felt like walking in and just expect me to be free, but now Just turn around now. Boy, you're not welcome anymore. Hey, was you the one who tried to hurt me with the lie? Did you think I'd come? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, I was fine. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I stand fine. I've got all my time to leave. I've got all my love to give. I'll survive. I will survive.
I thought we'd do a little sing-along. Have we got any singers in the house, on the beach? Not really in the house. All the houses are blown away. Any country music fans? Any reggae music fans? About the same amount, really. It's interesting, isn't it? So let's do, I think we'll do, any rock music fans? Some over there, a powerful section there. We'll do a, yeah? What? Yeah? We just do this we'll do a rock music tune, country style, how about that? This is a song, well, it was a freestyle. Didi, I'm not sure if you've sung this with us, but let's do it now. Any Queen fans? One is enough.
One is enough, definitely.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to get everybody in tune, just sing this note. I'll tell you what we'll do a 25-part harmony. We'll work our way around. I'll start it off, everybody add a note, layer it up. Take me home tonight. Oh, down beside that river lane. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Oh, fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Come on, babes. Skinny lad, never knew no good from bad. I knew life before I left my nursery. Left alone with Big Fat Fanny, she was such a naughty nanny. Big woman, you made a bad boy out of me. Come on, people, sing it. Oh, you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside there in my Steve. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out. Make the right world go. Out here singing with my band, across the water, across the land, singing every blue-eyed bluesy all the way. Oh, their beauty and their style were kind of smooth after a while. Take me to them naughty ladies every time. Nothing. Oh, I know you're gonna take me home tonight. Oh, down beside there in my life. Oh, you're gonna let it all hang out. That bottom girl, make the rocket world go. That bottom girl, you make the rocket world go. Bottom girls, you make the rocket world go people. Right down the center, number one hardest punk flag offender. Check the photo finishing this the size swap for all. Now opposing the play on the roll. Slide down the bar like Robert De Niro. If I were you, I'd have a Nixon or Spiro. Check the part and shoot every shady. Got my expression in the garden lazy. I wanna to bring up a pro. He'll rap a little bit better than this. Would you please welcome back Mr. Gillard, Shorty? Come on, Gillard, give us a little taste, baby.
Legalize it. Don't criticize it. Legalize it, yeah, yeah. And I will advertise it.
I want you to give me back that introduction y'all had going, man. I like that intro, man. Y'all can do that just for me. Y'all hear me? Hey, oh, I'm tired of being a slave. Tired of being a slave. Hey, yo, I'm tired of being a slave. I've been working hard for years. Now I'm tired of being I was born in chains. Don't even know my African name. I've been working hard for this. I mean years and never been paid. Give them everything I've got like that. Blood, sweat and tears. You can see it in my face. I'm tired of being a slave. Yo, tired to walk. Somebody buy a car. Everywhere me turn roadblock. Tired to watch on the news that another youth shot by who and the blood clot. Tired to read every